Alright, part 2 of this video, just to make sure I can upload it all to YouTube. Try not to handle it too much as far as picking it up, because it's going to lose its shape. Try to kind of keep it on the board. Once you get to this point, you don't really want to handle it until it gets a little bit drier to that leather hard phase. Then you can handle it a little bit more. Something like this, right here down where the base is. I may need to kind of use this tool to get in there, smooth it out some. My base is a little more pronounced in some places than others, so I might want to try to even that out. Maybe kind of, this is where you would kind of take some time to shape it. Like I've got this way kind of huge bump. So I'm just going to keep tapping that clay back in. See how that bump's going away? Oh, I missed a big spot right here. One way I know that mine is not very circular yet, and one way you can kind of test that is you can kind of spin it. See, then it gives you an opportunity to see everything that's wrong with it. So like this side still needs a lot of work. Again, I've picked this up, but I'm being very gentle with it. The reason this is so bumpy right here, this is a great example. The reason this part has stuck out so much where I'm kind of working on it is because I had a coil that was thicker there maybe than everywhere else. So I'm trying to kind of smooth it out and match it a little bit better. Now, as I start to get ready to work on the lip, if it's something you're going to drink out of, or even if it's not, and right now I'm just kind of going around tapping it, trying to kind of even out my shape. I could work on this for a really long time. This will be what you guys spend a lot of time on. I'm going to go ahead and you can kind of punch out your shape in places if it needs to be. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because this is just a quick demo. The lip, when I get to the point where I'm wanting to start kind of evening out this lip, I'm going to go around and kind of pinch it. And see, every time I turn it, I see something that I can keep improving. I'm going to go ahead around and kind of pinch my lip. You want the lip of, especially if it's something you're drinking out of, you want that to be extra thin. Not extra thin, but you want it to be thinner than everywhere else. You can also kind of use this as a chance to kind of get it all level. You can tap parts down. If you've got a part that's too tall, just tap it down. Just work on your craftsmanship. Ceramics is not a quick process. If I had a, you can't really make a pot in one class period, so I'm just kind of trying to show you as best I can. So like this part's a little thick, but when I pinch it out, then it gets too tall. So I just gotta kind of tap it down. It's starting to look a little nicer. There's still things that aren't perfect, but we're getting there. You can see my center has a really nice even circle. Could go around and just really gently smooth it out with this if I want. Again, be very gentle. If you're using this, use support. You're just scraping the surface to smooth it. Another great smoothing technique is to use a wet sponge. So I'm going to go grab a sponge real quick. This is something you won't be doing in the beginning. Do not take a wet sponge to your artwork the first day you're working on it. I am just doing this for demonstration purposes. But you can dampen a sponge, just damp, not wet, damp. And that kind of cleans off the rough surface without having to alter the shape too much. You just kind of go around. You can also use that to kind of clean up your lip. You can fold it up like this and go around the lip. And that'll help give you a nice surface that you would actually want to put your lips to that's not going to be bumpy and hurt. Okay, so let's pretend I had this perfect. I liked the shape. I was ready to move on and add to it. A couple of things you can do. You can stamp into it if you have an object at home, like a wooden star or, whatever. You can stamp into it. Don't push all the way through, but you can stamp. That gives you an interesting texture. Put your finger behind for support if you're stamping. You may scratch into it. Just use a toothpick and scratch. You can add to it. Now, if you want to add to it, you have to do what we call slipping and scoring. So I'm going to demonstrate that by adding a handle. When you do a handle, it's just like making